I keep hearing the whole like trope about how SEO is dead, like the rise of AI search engines, and it's like it doesn't matter whether it's AI or search engines or algorithmic, it's all search. And so like we don't need a new acronym, we don't need AEO, we don't need it's just SEO. So I posted the screenshot and I was like, SEO is dead, quote unquote, and I said, grow up, babies. I don't sell or I don't pitch. It's just all 100% of our leads are inbound. So the biggest selling point is like, if you want SEO services from us, Google lawn care marketing company and see who's number one. And that's all I have to say. And it's always us.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fully Managed podcast where we discuss marketing and business tips to help assist you on your business journey. I'm your host, Shannon, Penji's partnership coordinator, and I'm joined here today with a very special guest, Jake Hundley from Evergrow Marketing. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. So could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, if you would introduce yourself differently than I would, and anything in your professional career that you think is relevant to date?
Yeah. So I've been kind of in the marketing world for the better part of 10 years now. I started a digital marketing agency with my business partner, Cody, who we both met at a marketing agency 10 years ago. And we specialize in the landscaping and lawn care industry specifically, bringing PPC, SEO, and the web development to the industry and kind of made a name for ourselves, carving that out as kind of one of the top lawn care landscaping marketing agencies in that niche. And then 2.5 years ago, we started a podcast on agency growth, and we've been having fun with that.
I'm happy that you're having fun with it. It's very similar to ours, so I'm happy that we're on base with the same kind of topic. Um, so the lawn care industry is something that I think is super interesting, a very specific niche. I love to get into that when I see that people have specific ones. Is it something that you're very interested in or passionate about, or is it just something that you saw didn't have um wasn't focused on lately at the time, and you just thought it would be like a good niche to tap into?
Yeah, I think the catalyst for it was just that there was a gap in the market. It just seemed like all of the landscaping and lawn care companies that I found on Google were like 10 years in the past in
Mhm.
terms of just their website and their marketing and their presence on Google. And I lawn care in general was something that I always talked to my dad about doing and just like starting like a family lawn care business. But then I went
Uh-huh.
the white collar route and then never thought about it again until I got into marketing and then saw that gap when I was just Googling some lawn care companies near me. And it started as just kind of like a venture to pay some bills, just
Mhm.
pay some credit card debt down. And I wanted to operate under an alias or a DBA, which was Evergrow Marketing at the time. And about was doing that for like 2 years, just solo. Really wasn't getting any traction, but I was building the brand and just kind of being a resource in that niche. And then 2019, my partner joined up with me, and then we just exploded from there. But the uh, the whole point of the niche to just focus on lawn care and just be in that industry was if I knew that SEO was a primary service I wanted to offer, I felt weird about getting SEO clients by not doing SEO. So like everybody out there who has, just starts a marketing agency or a freelancer, work with digital marketing, it's always weird to me when the first reaction on how to get clients is by doing something that's not the marketing service that you're providing. So it's you do social media marketing and they're like, yeah, to get social media clients, I cold call. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why don't you just do your own marketing?
Mhm.
Um, there's an excuse for people who specialize in paid media, and that excuse is I don't have capital. I can't run paid ads. With SEO, there really isn't an excuse. Just do SEO. And so the challenge with that became, well, I'm not gonna rank for SEO company. That's just not gonna happen. Just the sky in Kansas City is that's too much. So there is an opportunity to rank for SEO or marketing for lawn care
Mhm.
to really bring in that industry and that niche. tailored to that. Now, I didn't think that people were going to search that as much, but I was definitely pleasantly uh, wrong.
So one, I think there's definitely something to say about getting to a client through proper SEO, because I think that that's almost something that they can admire and then want to go with you because of that. It makes sense for, like, if I use a good marketing tactic to get someone for my marketing agency, it would make sense that they would want to use my marketing services because they found me through me doing that for myself. And I
It,
think that's definitely something that's I think people don't think about that much.
it's a really good selling point too. So even if you do get somebody on the phone, like let's just say you're doing outbound marketing and or outbound lead gen, so a cold calling, cold emailing, you do get somebody on the phone or you do meet with somebody in person. Uh, you don't really have to sell the service after that because it's, now people call me and they'll say like, "Hey, pitch yourself," which I don't do. I don't sell or I don't pitch. It's just all 100% of our leads are inbound. So it's like, well, you're the one calling me. So,
No.
yeah, what did you expect? So, the biggest selling point is like, if you want SEO services from us, Google lawn care marketing company and see who's number one. And that's all I have to say. And it's always us. And so I just, e- after that, it just kind of shuts down those objections where it's like, well, clearly you know what you're doing. So
When you started, was it mostly local based lawn care companies, or was it something that just from doing SEO you were able to grab a bunch of different businesses from that?
So when I started, I had a very similar approach to what we were talking about just before we started recording, which was building a social media presence with the brand name
Mhm.
of Evergrow Marketing, and then I would just go into groups and I would just comment helpful things. I wouldn't DM or solicit anybody. Like if anybody had a question related to anything related to my expertise, whether it was domains or marketing or websites, I would simply just answer. And my answers would be often very verbose. It would be like literally a how-to guide in the comment section
Mhm.
and never explain to anybody that I offered that services. So on Facebook it's a little different because Facebook I just use my personal page to do it. So
Mhm. So they
uh,
know how to find you if
yeah,
we're looking.
and people who had questions, they would message me and say, "Hey, like I have more questions on this," and then they would ask me like, "Do you do this for a living?" Because I would never explicitly say that. And then I found forums online for lawn care businesses, and where like they were just kind of engaged. And those are the forums where I would register with my name as Evergrow Marketing, but I'd have like my own picture,
Mhm.
so people can associate like a person behind that brand.
Yeah.
And then I would do the same thing, except I wouldn't need to solicit the brand or do anything. Like people see the account name and they see Evergrow Marketing and are like, oh, well, they probably know what they're
What?
talking about. And yeah, so that's what Penji does on Reddit as we were talking.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's exactly when people are looking for information and you help them, I think that's a good foot in the door kind of thing, or a yeah, no, foot or is when um you're already helping them, and now if they have a need for more things or more services in which you provide, then it's much more likely to um for them to want to use your service based off of you already adding value to their lives.
I just had somebody reach out to me on Reddit that I haven't talked to in like a year, and they were like, "Hey, it's long time no talk." He goes, "I'm trying your method of being involved in Facebook groups in my niche, and I'm not getting anything." And he's like, "I've sent tons of DMs," and I go, "Hold on a second, let's back up. I've never said send DMs."
Yeah, that's cold outreach. That's
Yeah, so I'm
the
like,
same thing.
there's a difference between being helpful and soliciting, and I don't know whose advice that is, but it's not mine.
Yeah, I definitely understand because you can add value to people's lives without soliciting to them. I mean, I think that if someone is investigating the company that you work for or what you do based off of the knowledge that you provide for them, I think that's a testament to your capabilities in that field and what you do. Because I think that if people are seeking you out, then that kind of shows more, um I don't know why the word prestige is coming into my head. That's not really what I mean,
Yeah. What do you mean, though? Yeah.
but yeah, that might be worse than prestige. But I think it definitely it shows something about a person to be able to grab someone's attention through that method rather than some kind of gimmick.
Yeah. And it's I think it's hard. Like there's a word I hate and it's called authentic or authenticity because it's like it's so overused and nobody knows what it means anymore. And so whenever I hate telling people to be authentic because then they just think of somebody they know of who is authentic and they're like, I'll emulate that. But it's like, well, that's the opposite of being authentic.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think that authenticity is gets kind of messy when people talk about it at this point. I think that it's definitely misconstrued as a concept, especially with I think the rise of LinkedIn, so to speak. I think that that is one of the biggest players in maybe maybe getting that misconstrued because a lot of people see these top voices or not even a top voice but like a big voice on LinkedIn and they'll feel like they have to emulate that in order to provide value, but I am on LinkedIn constantly and I see the same thing said multiple times in different ways and they're still getting traction. It's just the way in which you say it has to be authentic to you.
There's a service out there that literally, I mean, there's probably multiple ones. But there's a bigger, well known one that is that they provide. They basically make you an influencer. Like they make the CEO an influencer on LinkedIn, and basically the whole goal is to fill your pipeline for your B2B business. And like they reached out to be on our podcast, which I'm gonna say yes because I want to know more about it. Yeah, or no, like I, I couldn't care less to pay for that service, but the uh the idea that being a LinkedIn influencer is like this prestige, we'll use that word again. And but every time I go on there, I just see like the cringiest posts and I can't be a part of it. But then and then every time I post on LinkedIn, I just feel like I'm being super unprofessional because I just like I'll say two sentences and like my last posts, I called everybody, I said grow up babies because I was eh, because I I keep hearing the whole like trope about how SEO is dead, like the rise of AI search engines, and it's like it doesn't matter whether it's AI or search engines or algorithmic, it's all search. And so like we don't need a new acronym, we don't need AEO, we don't need it's just SEO. And like I posted a screenshot because we got a lead on our marketing website from somebody who found us through ChatGPT. So I posted the screenshot and I was like, SEO is dead, you know, quote unquote. And I said, grow up babies. And like that's all I said. But like I don't know. I feel like if that got in front of a bunch of people, I feel like more people would actually like it.
No, I definitely agree, and I think that that's authentic because it's funny, and you're not afraid to be, I don't know, criticizing.
I think there's a delineation between like, you know, like crude and like vulgarity. You know, I think the rise of influencers like Gary Vee and, you know, Grant Cardone and things like that, there's like they kind of push the limits on vulgarity and I don't like to push the limits, but I do like I think there's a definitely a line there.
No, I think it's funny. I do definitely get I I do have a lot of double takes on LinkedIn, when looking at certain posts, and I think it's surprisingly very, I really didn't like it at first because I was like, "Oh, social media for professionals, that sounds awful and really, really boring." But it's it's so funny for someone who can find the humor in it. I love LinkedIn because you like, what people consider individually to be professional is so vastly different, and you can see a personality on LinkedIn where you're like, "Oh my god, I'd never say that to someone ever." In real life, no, you can never catch me saying that to another person, but people idolize this person, and that is insane.
It's what's insane is like it's like they have like people have like multiple personalities. Like they're on LinkedIn and like they're one way, then you're like your private Facebook account is not that way.
I know, so funny. I just do really love LinkedIn because of its it's funnier because if that was posted on Instagram, it wouldn't be funny. But it's funny because it's in a professional quote unquote environment. And that's why it's so good because it's like, oh my God, like your job recruiters can see this. Your potential clients can see this. Like, and it's hysterical to me. And I just find it very, very fun. I at first thought it was a boring place to be, but it's not.
I think it's better to to follow. It's better to follow owners who well own the companies or CEOs versus like people who are employed because then those people can be more of themselves. They don't have to worry about this recruiters
I
or things like that.
Yeah, the people who are looking for jobs are much less crude on LinkedIn. I don't find unless they really want they're not short for cash and they really want someone to recruit them that is just as crude as them, I suppose. Then yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my wife and I are even connected on LinkedIn because our LinkedIn's are so like polar opposite for each other.
It's fair. The only way I don't even interact on LinkedIn. I don't comment on people's things. Maybe that's bad for media engagement, but I just post the podcast clips. I I don't want to be a personality on LinkedIn. I think that would make me vastly uncomfortable. Uh, and I'm just along for the ride, enjoying the other wild, wacky personalities on there.
Yeah.
Well, switching topics a little bit. Um, okay, so when you recruited your first full-time team member, I think it was like 2021,
Yeah.
what made you do that? And what did you want to allocate them to do? Like what was the selling point of like, I can't do this by myself anymore?
Yeah, it is. That's a good question because this is like the hard. I think the first hire is the hardest for everybody, trying to figure out like what exactly they're going to do. And for us, it was the maintenance on our accounts, so like the SEO and like the SEO work primarily was just wasn't getting done because we were so busy onboarding new clients. We were kind of in growth mode that we weren't really in like value attainment mode. Like we weren't continually doing the SEO. And when you're an SEO agency, you can get away with that. Like I'm not proposing that. I'm not saying you should get away with that. We were not okay with quote unquote getting away with it. So like we need to bring somebody on to actually do that work. And so like for us, it was a matter of someone doing it, but then like onboarding accounts, because like we rebuild and build 90 to 95% of all of the websites from clients that come to us. Because you can't come to us if you have a bad website. So or if it's on a CMS we don't work with. So we usually go with the rebuilds and those take 30 to 45 days and it's about 20 to 30 labor hours. So if it's just me and we're onboarding four of them, that's 100% of like a 9 to 5 job in 1 month, plus the maintenance. So it was kind of like we called it the position Sam, super account manager, and it was basically like your job is everything, like everything we don't do or that we can't do. And so she was doing SEO. She's doing the PPC campaigns, and then she was also building the websites. Now, of course, all under our supervision. We trained her to do all of these. She's able to like. Eventually, she didn't like the remote work, so she went on to work in person somewhere, but set her up on a great career. Now she came in as a college student, as a single mother college student. I think she was in communications,
Well,
and she's like
wait,
now she's like a digital strategist. So like uh in her exit interview, we asked her like what are the parts of the jobs you liked, what are the parts of the jobs you didn't like, and she said that it's not the amount of hours because our full time at Evergrow is 32 hours a week, and it's just
nice.
yeah, so it's basically 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, but you only have to log 32 hours. So I don't care if you're watching Netflix all of Friday. That's totally fine.
Yeah, as long as you did more hours the other.
Yeah. However, between 9 to 5, we need you responsive. So like even if you're at 32 and we send you an email at noon on Friday, like we expect a response. Now you can respond to that and then go back to Netflix. That's totally fine. Um, but she was saying like it's not the amount of hours. What it is it's the mental load of all the different tasks. EPC and switching. I mean, we run on a very productized service, so we have one person can handle 50 accounts because it's lawn care and it's all the same. It's like just templated basically. And you spend 5 minutes on an account per day, and that's a lot of mental load. And people don't really account for that.
Mhm.
And so not only that, but she's doing it between SEO and PPC, and then also like onboarding new clients. And she's like, it was just a lot. So what we did after she left is we actually hired two part timers, split our hours up, split the
Mhm.
people up, and split the mind, like the capacity up. But then we also hired two very different thinking people. So for SEO, we hired someone who in both new hires were in college. One was a um, an editor for multiple magazines. She was going to school for writing and journalism, SEO, obviously. The next person was going to school for business marketing, but we were looking for somebody who was very, very particular and did not make mistakes. And so we found our second person to do PPC. And then we trained both of them to be absolute. I think Eva, she's our SEO person. She's been with us since we split that role up. I think she knows more than me in SEO now. And so I've always
Really nice.
we always say that we don't hire marketers, we make them.
I think that that's a really great way to recruit, honestly. I think that and maybe this might sound I don't manipulative. I don't know. Uh, I think that um having like bringing in a person that's maybe going to school for something but is mildly unfamiliar with the workforce and how to do very specific tasks. I think that and I hope that this improves and people will bring in more young people because I think that the job requirements for 1 to 3 years of experience, um, is sometimes insane, because young people will never get a job. But, um, that young minds are so moldable and, like, trainable to be very good at the specific task or job that you give them, especially for longevity. Like there are a lot of people that, want to move because they want a different kind of setting or they want to make more money or whatever it may be. But when someone is happy in their position and good at it, they're more likely to stay with you. And I think that training someone from right out of college to be really good at something if they're happy in that place, they're probably just gonna continue to be there.
There's a lot to say about that because I think my partner Cody, he said he when we filled out the job listing, it said like required and it said like college degree, and I was absolutely adamant against that because I don't have a college degree. So like I dropped out, and like part my excuse all the time for entrepreneurship is like, well, yeah, I had to start a business, no one would hire me. So
You're gonna be the leader because you're not gonna be you can't be a follower.
and I'm like, and if you think I'm an S tier player, then like why can't somebody who doesn't have that degree be that S tier player? And
Mhm.
I don't want to bring some, and also like bringing somebody in who has previous SEO or previous PPC experience. In my brain, they're brainwashed. So like I have to, okay, we have to like scrub all the bad habits out of you and like retrain you. And sometimes that's just harder than just teaching somebody who doesn't know anything. So when we hire, we really go for like the younger college students because our processes are so documented out. Like we make it
That's amazing
so
too.
yeah. So we call it like a process should be so easy a monkey can do it,
Mm.
and or like your grandma or someone. And since those are so documented out, we can hire anybody, do the process, ask questions later, and then when you ask questions, we'll teach you and we'll train you why things are done the way they are. But so when we hire people, we don't, or like college students or younger people, we don't look for any experience. We just look for things the role might need. So, like if you're an SEO, we want to make sure that you have critical thinking skills and that you can form a functional sentence. Um, for PPC, the difference between spending $100 and $10,000 is a decimal. So like we need people who are very, very particular. And so sometimes for PPC hires, we might give them a process on like how to document something to see if they followed it to a T. But even applying to us, there was you had to follow rules. So like when you went to our job page, like on Indeed, it says don't apply on Indeed, apply through the website. So if their resume came through Indeed, trash can.
Immediate. Yeah, that's very smart.
And then in the position, they have to title their one. You have to include the resume and the application, and or sorry, the resume and the cover letter. Cover letters always get dropped. Cover letters dropped. Trash can. Second thing is, I guess third thing is like the email has to be titled a very specific way. So when we hired for Sam, you had to say the email subject line had to say, my name is not Sam, but I'm applying for Sam." Or if your name was
Mm.
Sam, you just say, "My name is Sam and I'm applying for Sam." It's very stupid. Like it's very dumb when you look at it. But at the same time, what we're trying to, can you follow simple directions? Can you
That
read everything on the page?
No, that I think that is an amazing vetting process that is way better than the simple okay, you need to hit these points on your resume because there are I I have actually this was one of the funniest things that I think I've heard in a while. My boyfriend just told me he has gone up 4 job positions in his company in the last 3 years. Um but he had his boss told him when he was hired that he had the worst interview that his boss had ever seen. And the only reason that I think he was even hired was because they really needed someone and someone else that what they had in mind like didn't take the position. Like he did it like almost by accident. Um, and I know, like hearing about all of his job and all of the intricacies of everything, that he does more work and doesn't have to, that anyone else are like in his company above him, all this. And it's like they got a great employee because they got someone right out of college that really wanted to work. And I think that you as long as someone is capable and wanting to do the work, that's really all you need.
Yeah.
Like, you can train anyone to do anything. They don't have to have gone to college for it. They don't have to have gone to college at all. Um, you don't have to go a good GPA. I think his GPA was like a 2.0. I don't even
Dude,
exactly. I don't think that all these different people function differently, and I think some of the people that work the best, honestly, did the worst in school. Most of the people that I know. And I don't think that's directly correlated sometimes, but at the same time, I think that there are so many systems that we have in place in this country and wherever that prove that someone's smart, but I don't think that that should apply.
there's two things. One is like, yeah, they can pass the checks, but they also have to fit culturally too. So like
Mm.
there's a phrase that my partner says that he learned at his last job, which was every for the first 6 months, every new hire is an attack on the culture. And so when somebody joins, like
So scary.
they're the they're the first person to question things or like not fit in with like the groups that have already formed within the company. And so at a startup, that's a lot that's extremely important because when you only have four people working for you, it's so important everybody gets along. And
Yeah, they're so close. Like,
I don't think anybody wants to talk about the fact that we didn't hire you because you're weird. Like, uh, but like your resume could have been like perfect, but like Mari, you just so wait, but it is important, so important, and then
especially for a startup, I think it would also be like you'd feel awful, like if everyone's already close knit and you hire a weirdo because you're like, oh, they're qualified,
yeah,
and then the whole office is making fun of this weirdo, and you kind of feel bad about it.
qualifications don't mean anything, especially if you can like lie about them. What's important is
You
you
can like,
test critical thinking in the interview. So I'll ask questions that are just super weird, like I'll ask like how many. This is a common one. I've heard it before, but like how many pennies can fit on a bus? And then like someone says, I have no idea, a lot. Out. No critical thinking. 'Cause I don't you don't need to tell me the answer. I just want to know. I want you to ask me, how big is the bus? Is it a shorter bus? Is it a longer bus? Is it a double decker bus? Are we talking like a little toy bus? Like and
Cars.
and then like to walk me through how you would figure that process out. And like the other question I really like is what color is money? And like it sounds like a very corporate question, like, oh, we love money so much. Tell us what the color of it is. But as soon as somebody says, like, if we're hiring in the US, right? Because money is different all across the world. If we're hiring in the US and somebody just says green, it's like, okay, well, uh, critical thinking, not totally there. But like, but also it's like, that's usually your first reaction. And well, every time we get like somebody who's like not from the country, like overseas or whatever, and they're applying for the job, the first thing they respond back is, well, what country are we talking about? And
Mm.
then, or it's like, even if they're in the US, it's like they said green. I'm like, oh, so are dimes green? How about your credit card?
There's money. Yep.
Yeah. And so, it, I don't know. Some people might not like that, but we've been very lucky, or, strategic in the people that we've hired because of some of this stuff.
No, I definitely admire that, and I do definitely like wacky questions. I do like to ask them on the podcast. Sometimes we don't get to them, like here we're a little over time, but I'm gonna ask you one because you clearly like them. My favorite question to ask is how many eggs do you think you can eat in a waking day?
Yeah, so I would really come back to like, are we talking like quail eggs or are we talking like ostrich eggs?
We're
Because
talking about average chicken egg.
okay, average chicken egg. So we've actually just had this discussion in our team chat. Not,
I love that.
I didn't,
This is great. Great
I'm
culture.
gonna share this with our team too because it's hilarious. Um, in a whole day.
Waking day. So not like 24 hours, but
Oh,
like
okay.
as long as you'd be awake.
Yeah. Man, I could probably do 2 dozen.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if, it depends too, because if they're
You can
like,
have them any way. You don't have them like hard boiled or raw or whatever. You can cook them any way you want, but you have to eat them.
I don't eat a lot. Like I'm generally at like 1,500 calories a day. So like I could probably eat 2 dozen, which is more than that. But uh,
If you're pushing it.
yeah. Right. Hold on. This is
Okay.
let's what's where do you what's 24 times 70 calories? Yeah, 1680. That's like
Now
right
that
up.
you
I was
know off the top of your head how many calories an egg is, I'm like a little concerned about you.
as as drinking my healthy green shit too. So I got health as a priority right now in my life.
70 calories. Off the bat, not the noggin is full. Well, that is incredible. I'm happy you didn't say like 7. I swear that I think that if I was a hiring manager and someone said less than a dozen, I would be, you're gone. You're not pushing yourself enough.
I usually do like when I go to a restaurant and I'm like really hungry, I'll like how they have the calories next to like the food. I'll use the calories as a metric for how full I'll probably be. So like so if it's like it's 1,500 calories, I'm like I'll be really full. But if it says like 800 calories and I hadn't really eaten anything, I'm like I'm still gonna be hungry after this.
My question about the calories on menus is, and maybe since you're a calorie expert, 70 calorie egg person, you um well, because okay, I think most people have not been trained to actually correctly read a serving label, like a
Oh,
calorie label. And obviously there's serving sizes and people will eat more than the serving size and then it's more than the calories that it's provided. Also, apparently calories are only determined by a specific weight class and not actually like including the entire population, so it's very arbitrary. But
yeah.
on a menu, something I always wondered is there serving size or is it just that entire dish? Is
Uh
this if you
yeah,
finished it?
so this falls on like advertising guidelines. So it's the whole dish.
It's the whole dish.
Yeah. Because if they can give you like Um, so because the way the restaurant calculates the calories is they do it by uh how like the individual pieces. So if like this has 2 slices of cheese, they look at like
This
like the wrong, yeah, and they just add it up. So usually it's not even like fully accurate because the only way to actually determine calories is like literally by like burning it in water and
Mhm.
doing like the whole like measurement we did in chemistry class in junior year. But they're not doing that.
Interesting. Well, that makes me feel so much better actually because I never finish anything. And maybe you wouldn't hire me for that.
I haven't started. I recently, ever since I took my health seriously like a year ago, like I haven't. I've been like not finishing my entire plate at restaurants. I just
I never finish my entire plate. I don't even know how it's physically possible because the portion sizes at restaurants are usually huge, unless you're going to a Michelin star restaurant
well, I was.
place and they're giving you like this little tiny cake.
You look at any restaurant menu, like a burger and fries and whatever, and it's like 1,500 calories. That's literally your entire day right there at that one sitting.
I
So
don't want to think about that. Yeah, but that's true because if I do eat something like that, I feel like awful the whole day, and I know that that's because
yeah,
I wasn't meant to eat my calorie intake in one meal.
no, you guys should ask 2 meals. It's $30. That's $15 a meal. I have breakfast.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then you have lunch. That's what I do. I split my meals. And it's much I feel like slightly healthier, even if it's not good for me.
Yeah.
Well, this is a really funny note to end on. We are out of time. Well, hopefully the audience will not only get some marketing and strange, funny LinkedIn knowledge from this podcast, but also um, calorie knowledge because no one is taught to read serving sizes in American education system.
Be healthy out there, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me today. This was very fun. I'm sorry that maybe we didn't get to touch on as many marketing topics as you probably hoped.
Nah, totally fine. If you want to know marketing topics, just listen to more of your episodes or check us out on the Agency Growth Podcast.
Yeah, we had a shameless promo for another marketing podcast.
Yeah, stealing all of your listeners.
You can have them. I like sharing. But thank you again so much for joining me, everyone listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can get more knowledge, more calorie intake knowledge. Maybe we'll have another guest that knows how many calories an egg is, and you guys can be best friends. And I'll send you an email. Thank you again so much, and have a lovely day.
You too.